losing your life, not in dramatic moments, not in the decisions you make once, not in the crises that announce themselves with sirens and tears. You're losing it in the margins, in the 5 minutes between notifications, in the hour of scrolling before sleep, in the weekend that evaporates without a memory, in the conversation you had while looking at a screen. Your life is slipping away, not like sand through an hourglass, like water through a sieve. Invisible, constant, irreversible, and you have not noticed because the slipping has been happening since the day you were born, and you have never known anything different. Pattern interrupt. You are not living. You are leaking. Let me show you what you are losing. Every moment of genuine presence is a moment you will never get back. Every sunrise you did not notice. Every face you did not really see. Every silence you filled with noise. Every breath you took while thinking about something else. These are not small losses. These are the only losses that matter. Because life is not made of big moments. Life is made of the small ones. The morning coffee, the walk to work, the conversation with a stranger, the quiet hour before bed, the touch of a hand, the sound of a laugh. These moments are the fabric of existence. And you are tearing holes in the fabric. Not on purpose, by default, by habit, by the unconscious drift of a mind that has never been taught to stay. You have been taught to leave, to move on, to the next task, the next notification, the next worry, the next distraction. You have been trained to believe that presence is passivity, that stillness is wasted time, that doing nothing is doing less. But doing nothing is not doing less. Doing nothing is the foundation of doing anything that matters. Because from stillness comes clarity. From clarity comes intention. From intention comes action that is not reaction, movement that is not running, life that is not leakage. Napoleon Hill wrote about the importance of a definite major purpose. But you cannot have a definite purpose if you are not present. If your mind is always somewhere else. If you're living in the future's anxiety or the past regret. The future does not exist. The past is gone. The only moment you have is now. And now is slipping through your fingers while you wait for later. Pattern interrupt. Your waiting is not patience. Your waiting is the absence of presence. And absence is not peace. Absence is emptiness. Here is the hidden truth about time that no one teaches. Time is not a resource to be managed. Time is a substance to be inhabited. You do not spend time like money. You live time like a house. The question is not how much time you have. The question is how fully you are living inside the time you are given. You have been managing your time, scheduling it, optimizing it, maximizing it. You have been treating time like a problem to solve. But time is not a problem. Time is the medium of life, and you cannot optimize life. You can only experience it. When you are present, time expands, not in minutes, in meaning. An hour of presence contains more life than a day of distraction. A moment of genuine attention holds more reality than a week of automatic pilot. You have been measuring your life in minutes. You should be measuring it in moments of presence. And by that measure, you are poorer than you think. Let me tell you about the 3 thieves that are stealing your life. The first thief is the future. You live in tomorrow, planning, worrying, anticipating. You rehearse conversations that will never happen. You imagine disasters that will never come. You prepare for outcomes that will never arrive. The future is not real. The future is a story you tell yourself. And you have been living in that story while your actual life passes you by. The person you are planning for is not you. The person you are preparing for does not exist. That person is a ghost. And you are sacrificing your real life for a ghost. The second thief is the past. You live in yesterday, regretting, replaying, rehearsing. You carry old wounds like treasures. You replay old arguments like favorite songs. You visit old failures like museums. The past is gone. You cannot change it. You cannot fix it. You cannot relive it. Every moment you spend in the past is a moment stolen from the present. The past is not a place to live. The past is a place to visit for lessons. And you have taken up residence. Pattern interrupt. Your nostalgia is not wisdom. Your nostalgia is avoidance. Of a now. The third thief is the noise. The constant, endless, relentless noise. Notifications, news, entertainment, scrolling, streaming, posting, liking, commenting. The noise is designed to keep you from silence. Because the silence is where you would feel the slipping. The silence is where you would notice that you are not living. The silence is where you would have to face the terrifying question, what am I doing with my life? The noise is the anesthetic, and you have been self-medicating for years. Napoleon Hill wrote that the mind is the only thing over which you have complete control. But you have surrendered that control, not to a villain, to the noise, to the habit of distraction, to the unconscious drift of a life on autopilot. Take it back, not by fighting the noise, by choosing the silence. Here is the practice, not a theory, a way of living, one moment at a time. You cannot be present all day. Do not try. Try to be present for one moment. This breath, this sight, this sound, this touch, one moment of genuine attention. Then the next, then the next. The moments will be fragmented at first. You will forget. You will drift. That is fine. Noticing that you have drifted is the return. The return is the practice. The return is the muscle. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be present. And presence is not a state you achieve. Presence is a practice you return to, again and again, 1,000 times a day. Each return is a small rebellion. Against the drift, against the distraction, against the slipping. Each return is a moment of life reclaimed. The second practice is the pause. Before every transition, pause. Before you check your phone, pause. Before you open a new tab, pause. Before you answer a message, pause. Before you start a new task, pause. The pause is a breath. 3 seconds. Enough to ask, is this necessary? Does this serve me? Am I choosing this or drifting into it? The pause will feel awkward. The pause will feel slow. The pause will feel like wasted time. That is the addiction talking. The addiction wants you to move, to consume, to scroll, to forget. The pause is the antidote. Pattern interrupt. The pause is not wasted time. The pause is the only time that is not wasted. The third practice is the anchor. Choose a sense. The breath is the classic anchor. Every time you notice that you have drifted, return to the breath. Not to control it, to feel it. The air entering, the air leaving. The simple miracle of being alive. The breath is always present, even when you are not. The breath is the thread that connects you to this moment. Follow it back, again and again. The return is the practice. The practice is the life. You are not trying to become enlightened. You are trying to become awake. Awake to this moment, this breath, this life. The life that is slipping away is not somewhere else. The life that is slipping away is here, in the sensations you are not feeling, in the people you are not seeing, in the words you are not hearing, in the silence you are not sitting in. The slipping stops when you start paying attention, not with effort, with interest, with curiosity, with a simple question, what is happening right now? Right now, you are reading these words. That is happening. Your breath is moving. That is happening. There are sounds. There are sensations. There is life happening. Now, you have been missing it. Not because you are bad, because you were never taught to see. You were taught to think, to plan, to remember, to worry, to achieve, to consume. You were not taught to be. And being is the only thing that is real. Napoleon Hill wrote about the sixth sense, a gateway to infinite intelligence that opens when the lower mind is still. The lower mind is never still. The lower mind is always planning, worrying, remembering, wanting. The sixth sense cannot open because the door is jammed with noise. Clear the door, not by force, by presence, by the simple act of returning to this moment, again and again, until the return becomes the default, until presence becomes the background, until the slipping stops. The slipping will never stop completely. You will forget. You will drift. That is human, but you will return faster. The gaps will shorten. The presence will deepen. The life will become yours. Not because you have more time, because you are finally living in the time you have. Your life is slipping away, not as a threat, as a fact. The only question is whether you will notice, and whether you will choose to do something about it. Notice now, the breath. The body, the room, the life. Happening. Now. You are here. You have always been here. You just forgot. Remember now. Not for the rest of your life. For this moment. This moment is the only one that exists. And it is not slipping. It is waiting for you to arrive. Arrive. Not tomorrow. Now. The life you are losing is the only life you have. Stop losing it. Start living it. One moment at a time. Starting with this one. Breathe. Feel. Be. Not because it is easy. Because it is the only thing that is real. And you're tired of the fake. The slipping stops now. Not because time stops. Because you have finally decided to show up for it. Show up. Not for the future. For now. Now is the only appointment that matters. And you're already late. Arrive.